Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day and a wonderful weekend, or had a wonderful weekend, of course. Obviously, it's Monday here. Taking a look at some foundational stuff with ICP. We're going to look at some liquidation data, open interest. Obviously, understand this descending type of trend and that massive capitulation here for ICP. ICP really laid down flat when coins like Bitcoin kind of retraced like standard. It was like a standard retracement, and ICP really fell down. So the key takeaway here is that ICP is not performing, or is underperforming compared to other coins, and we want to recognize if it's going to continue or discontinue, what that means for us. This could just be a bear flag starting. We'll see here soon, obviously, right? So if you're new to the channel, just want to welcome you aboard. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you can learn something today. If you want to attend our Trading Academy community signals group, whatever the case is, it's all linked down below for you. So cryptocash.tech is the site if you're curious. And I want to say congrats to our community members here for some decent profit this weekend. Bitcoin 28% for a long. Aptos short. That's one of the only coins right now honestly worth shorting. It's looking like it wants to struggle pretty bad. We did actually have to manually close our SUI trade early. That was an unfortunate circumstance there, but there's no use shorting SUI right now, folks. This coin is on fire. Do not do it. Take it from me. Not worth it. So ICP, what are we going to look at here? Let's start with backend data. Recognize, and this is very standard for ICP, we always have like heavy concentrations in specific channels. So that channel is basically 775 to 750. We got a decent chunk down below. Then of course we got the upper range here, 870 upwards of $9. So based on this alone, you can disseminate that there's a lot more liquidation of the downside than the upside from a macro perspective, so it makes sense for ICP to pull back. Now granted, this depends on how the market performs too, right? You don't just want to get crazy with a short position just because there's liquidation. That's not what we do. But that is just something that's very present. If Bitcoin continues lower within any regard, then we're going to see that. And again, if you look at this here, you look at Bitcoin's performance and you compare it with ICP. It's phenomenally worse as far as ICP's, comparing with Bitcoin is concerned. In other words, ICP is doing poorly, Bitcoin is doing well. Most other altcoins are looking pretty solid, right? Majority of coins are just like taking off right there with Bitcoin. But with ICP kind of hesitating, that leads me to believe we're either going to see a breakout to the upside at some point once we break through somewhat of a resistance level, which this 0.382 fib level does seem like the likely target because we spent a lot of time there, and we got kind of our local point of control here. We cross above 860, it's a decent chance it's going to fly. But there's also a stronger chance that the price action continues lower, just based on the simple fact that it's inversely paired with Bitcoin in a lot of ways. I mean, you see this market here? Yes, there's a few outliers, but this is definitely one of them, right? It's one of those poorly responding to Bitcoin's recent pump. Really leads me to believe that there's more selling pressure, and we're probably going to see the price pull back. Last thing I wanted to look at here too with ICP is just the liquidation delta. There's definitely a lot more longs than shorts right now, so that's a positive sign in the overall sense. And open interest too, I forgot to look at this here. We can see 840 right there where the price action's at. We have the heaviest concentration of open interest, right? That's basically just where people have the most open positions, right? So we're right there at that baseline. So again, resistance range, open interest, everything's kind of right here at 840. So I would say a closing above 840 today could be a positive sign, pending Bitcoin doesn't pull back. And obviously the inverse as well, a closure below, probably see the price action continue lower for ICP. So just some heads up on what's going on there. So what we can do here, let's go and draw some new fibs. Again, we're going to want to kind of capture this more recent activity. But the truth is, from a macro perspective, we did bounce cleanly off 770. That's that support level for us. So just know, future reference, that 770 and 815 are some levels there to pay attention to. We're going to leave those fibs up here for the moment. Let's go ahead and finish the analysis, and I'll go ahead and post our playout chart on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, give you perspective on what that looks like once we're done here. So again, we can see for the local point of control, or not necessarily local, but ever since we've been in the range of $10 or less, we can see we have the most interest at 820. That's below the price action, generally a favorable sign. Okay, so from a larger term standpoint, we can see that we are above that point of control, giving us indication that the price shouldn't go too much lower because there's the most interest there. That goes fairly concurrent with the amount of open interest we see here recently. We take a look here as well. We can see RSI is under 50, generally unfavorable. Money flow index is higher, which is good, but also not great. We want the RSI to be over 50 to have any legs to stand on. Same thing with stochastics trying to swing up, MACD's trying to converge, trend strength index is low. These are all not so favorable signs. The only thing that is favorable here is that we're over the 50-day SMA, but we're under the 20. We're seeing this a lot on a lot of altcoins right now. really just telling us we're in between like a breakout or a breakdown. I know it seems crazy, but yes, that's generally how trading works. You either go up or down. It doesn't mean you have to trade both directions at any given time, though. As soon as you close along, you don't open a short. That's just not how it works. Again, you got to practice some kind of self-control. Okay, so let's take a look here. We'll just go ahead and draw some little quick trend lines here and kind of pay attention to this guy and kind of see here that, we are generally looking at somewhat of a bearish type of flag here, okay? And usually what these do is they break down further because they derived from the upside, okay? So could see another retest and a rejection there. We could even see the price action come up and down here. But the likelihood of further downside makes more sense from a pattern and liquidation standpoint. Okay, so again, just to reiterate here, folks, that's a lot of liquidation on the downside. Again, 650 I think is very aggressive. I don't think we'll see that quite that low, but just know that that exists. But again, double bottoms also exist too, right? So there's different strategies for every scenario. But on the 4-hour time frame, if we see stochastic and MACD, they're both diverging, they're both pulling back. We're right here at 50 on the RSI. Granted, we're generally a little bit above. It's not phenomenal, but on the same accord, the money flow index is increasing. Keep in mind that's going to be a flawed statistic because of weekend data being so low in volume. It's going to give you a false positive. So I wouldn't trust that money flow index right now. You may think that a lot of money is flowing in. Obviously, we saw a decent candle here for most coins, but I still don't feel like I can trust this. I don't know. Me personally, ICP is really, really good at continuation events, and until we break free from this descending trend, I don't think we have much of a leg to stand on. And the descending trend I'm talking about too is generally the 50-day SMA. So again, at the end of today's trading day, if we can close just say 850, 860 or higher, I think ICP has some legs to stand on. But if not, I think ICP is probably more likely to pull back just based on what we've seen here so far. Hourly time frame, let's quickly note here that we're not in bad shape, but we're also not in good shape here. The lagging span intersecting with the price action generally implies you should have taken profits on a long. Same thing as well with the conversion line being below the baseline. Generally implies we are seeing momentum to the downside. We're establishing lower highs and tentative lower lows. Same thing as well here with the cloud. While we are above it, it's not really like definitive by any stretch. So I think we're in a position right now where we close below 840. It might be a solid consideration for a short. Again, we want to pay attention to how Bitcoin's performing. I generally analyze Bitcoin twice a day, so make sure you catch my afternoon analysis for that. But at this point here, I mean, this really just doesn't look super awesome. This is just kind of a somewhat of an ugly pattern here, and I don't like it. So again, I'm not a super big fan of this right now. There's this chance it could break out, but the likelihood is pretty low, and I don't really think it's an advantageous situation here at all. So again, that's just me personally. If you took offense to watching this because you're an ICP fanatic, I'm sorry I offended you. But the truth is, when coins look poorly, they typically perform poorly as well. And this is just not a good situation for ICP. So hopefully you can be careful and cautious. I would wait for today's candlestick to close over 860 to have any legs to stand on, because I'd be retesting the local high. We'd be more likely to break through that because we're above our macro point of control, our local point of control. And the same thing with macro too, which we've already derived as like, the 830 to 840 range. So we are above some support. This doesn't look very clean here, and I don't really trust ICP to take a long right now. I would say probably consider waiting for a short too. Okay, anyways, I know patience is difficult, but it's an important part of trading, folks. Be patient, we'll get there. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks again so much for watching. Quick heads up too, we got just this month alone, you have a futures bonus for Bitunix. Be sure to take advantage of that awesome exchange. Use my link to register before you're eligible for this. This is for our community, but if you want to be part of that, simply click the link down below and check it out. Let me know your thoughts. We'll look forward to working with you though, either way. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.